You've undoubtedly heard the rumours regarding both what Sony and Microsoft are considering regarding their upgraded hardware for their respective consoles. Of course, the one we've heard the most about is none other than the PlayStation 4K, and Gamestop's Chief Operating Officer, or COO, has said during their official Investor Day that the launch of these new consoles is imminent. Now, this gentleman goes by the name of Tony Bartel, and he actually spoke of multiple upcoming launches. Now, one of these is undoubtedly the Nintendo NX, which is rumoured to be released at the end of this year, which would make sense, at least in my mind, and would at least learn what the console actually is this year. That would be great. Now, of course, the NX has quite a few of its own rumours, including the one that it will offer up to 30% higher than the PlayStation 4. Now, as we all know, PlayStation 4 has quite a few rumours regarding it as well. Primarily, of course, the PlayStation 4K, and those rumours are persisting that Sony are indeed working on a new machine. Supposedly, the upgraded hardware will have about twice the GPU performance of the vanilla launch model, meaning that the GPU will put about 3.6 to 4 T-flops of performance. Now, we basically know very, very little about the PlayStation 4K and how the other specifications other than those rumours regarding the GPU will fare, but the word is that Sony are considering a faster processor in order to keep up with that faster GPU and possibly more RAM. Now, we've discussed this a few times here. The 4K in the name likely isn't referring necessarily to the graphical ability of the PS4 in terms of playing games, but more the ability to play 4K Blu-rays and stream 4K content, something that the current PS4 just can't do. And to be honest, it's pretty obvious that PlayStation 4K is not going to be able to play 4K games, because that's pretty hard to do even with a really beefy PC. Now, of course, over to Camp Microsoft, we have heard a lot less about what they're planning. Of course, Phil Spencer has suggested that they were considering an upgraded machine. He then basically said that they weren't considering it after recanting. And basically he said that he would be more interested in a big upgrade. So he wasn't really interested in an Xbox 1.5, he more wanted the next Xbox 2 or whatever it is they end up calling it. Now, he did say that he did understand the interest in the PlayStation 4K or 4.5, but again, he was only interested in those big numbers. So they would only put out a new Xbox One system, or whatever it ends up being called, if it is a pretty big leap in terms of power from the current machine available in the market. However, there have of course been a few FCC filings that have hinted that Microsoft may indeed be working on new Xbox models. And one of them is, from what we can understand, based upon the vanilla Xbox One, and the other one is very different indeed. So one could be a slimline Xbox One, or just a redesign of the Xbox One, perhaps a digital only for a reduced price. We just don't know. Now, the time to find these things out is undoubtedly going to be E3. Now, if these announcements take place simultaneously, and of course how people react to them is going to be very interesting, especially when you consider that neither the Xbox One or the PS4 have been out for all that long. Now, of course, it would make sense for at least Sony to put out a more powerful PlayStation 4, call it what you will, PlayStation 4K or 4.5, because of virtual reality. Now, the PlayStation VR I'm sure is going to be good, hopefully going to get my hands on one around launch, but you can stick as many external processing units on it as you want, it's still only working with the power of the PlayStation 4, and obviously what it can do is limited to that power. So if PlayStation VR is going to have a long life, then obviously Sony wants to think about the future and making the PlayStation VR compatible with their future consoles, that be 4.5 or PlayStation 5 or whatever they end up calling it. So it's going to be a very interesting time, and I think we're all going to be keen to see how true these rumours end up being. It'll most likely be E3, or at pure latest Gamescom we find out how true these rumours actually are. So basically, we're going to be seeing things soon if the Gamestop COO has the right of it, and I would, as I said, fully expect to see at least something from Sony at least at E3 or at Gamescom with pure latest, as I've already said. So it's going to be interesting. Microsoft, I'm not too sold on. I don't know if they've released a next big Xbox already. Incremental updates, of course, would hopefully be less expensive than a full-blown console, yada yada yada. So given how as I've already said, the Xbox One and PS4 haven't been on the market that long. Microsoft might not be all that willing to do that just yet. But of course, I could be wrong. That is the fun of pure speculation. So speculate away in the comments and do let me know your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.